Hello everyone, this is General Hand Grenade. Welcome to my war room in Prince George, British Columbia. Today is the start of the last video that I'm making in my house rules series before I move on to other things. This is going to be really cool, and it's probably going to take a while, maybe a week or so to film, but it's going to be a very long video. I'm just going to keep splicing it all together. What I've done is I've made up 10 house rules that I've displayed for you already, either on axisandallies.org or on YouTube or in both places. And I'm going to add all 10 of those rules into a game. As you can see here, what we're looking at, this is the starting units that everybody gets in an out-of-box game, plus the special units that I put on for my house rules. And there are 10 house rules. I'll go through them real quickly. I'm not going to describe them all because if you want to go back and watch the videos or read about them, then you can do that. They'll give you more detail, but you'll learn more about them as I play the game because I'll be talking about them as I'm playing. So let me just talk about the Japan versus Russia rule. I had a video about that, and I gave a few options that I thought would be okay, but I'll tell you which one I've settled on and which one I'm going to use. So let's just move over here. Let's move this back. Okay, so I'm not going to give you all the reasons. You'll have to go back and watch the video if you want to see why I've done this. But they're above the Himalayas here. This is an impassable zone. This is where the mountains keep coming up. And if you look at a satellite map or on Google Earth, a map of the Earth, a picture of the Earth, you'll see that this comes up here. It sort of follows this line here. And that, so what I'm going to do is this is going to be impassable. Starting down here, basically where your two boards meet, if you're using two boards, and it's going to come around here. It's going to go along Mongolia, and then this one here and this one here. The line's going to come up from Mongolia. It's going to come up this way to the end of the board. On this side of the board is Europe. On this side of the board is Pacific, and neither the Japanese nor the Russians can cross either side. Now Russia already has some units over here. I'm playing with railways too. I didn't build a railway here because I wanted to put them somewhere else, and I didn't want to invite Japan to come through. But if you had a railway coming through here, then that's okay. Then the Russians could get back and forth, and the Japanese, if they were to take that railway, they could get back and forth. But I haven't built a railway, so you can't cross this line right here. I'll show it to you again. Along Mongolia and then up this way. These are the Ural Mountains up here, and they're pretty much impassable. You could get through them, but to march an army through them with all the equipment, it would be nearly impossible. The Mongolian rule is still in effect. So Young Grasshopper's video will show you quite clearly what the Mongolian rule, if you can't figure it out by reading the directions in the box. So that gives Japan $8 or 8 IPCs they can pick up all along here. So you still can attack Russia, but you've got to go through 18 infantry and 2 anti-aircraft to do it. So it's going to take you considerable resources to collect 8 IPCs, and you're welcome to do that. Anyway, that's Japan versus Russia. So the other rules that I'm using, there's 2 combat units. We're using the Special Forces unit and the heavy tanks, and there's videos about those as well. We're using airfields and railways and hospitals and Tankograd. That would be the infrastructure that I've added. Then there's 3 more that are not infrastructure or special or combat units, and that is the American Minorities at War from HBG, Historical Board Gaming. We're going to use that one for the Americans. We're going to use partisans, and that you get a partisan marker if your capital's been taken over. That was on the previous video as well. And we're using the spy, and I talked about that earlier today in a video that I made. By the way, I said that I was going to go through all the countries and show you what I would do on the first round if I got the spy. And I kind of got sidetracked, so I didn't get there. But I'm going to go through that now. Why not? So let's just, it'll only take a minute. Let's just kick up a chair here. And there's our dice. So what happens is I'm going to roll all of these dice. The high number gets the spy in the first round, and they have a choice between 3 things. If you haven't seen that other video, then go watch it, and you'll see what the choices are. So Germany's first. Now, if I was Germany, with the 3 choices that are given, I think the best choice would be your battleship. Now, your battleship, you're going to attack either this territory here or this territory here, and hopefully you're going to have a battleship. He's probably going to be damaged, but you're hopefully going to have that battleship left. One of the things you can do is not bother doing anything yet, and then wait until everybody goes after you and see if Great Britain decides to attack that battleship, or if the Japanese have drawn in the Americans into the war in the first turn, then they might be able to reach with, depending on where the battleship, they might be able to reach with a bomber, but probably not. But anyway, you can wait until after the UK goes and see if they go to attack your battleship. What I would do, if I had my battleship out here and it was sitting on its side and it was left over, and then the UK decided to come in there with their air units, I would say, okay, after your combat movement, I'm moving out now and I'm going over here. You had prior knowledge that attack was going to come in, so that's what you decided to do with your spy. So that's what I would do with Germany. And then if your battleship wasn't left after the, like, if you did lose your battleship, then you might want to try research and development. You could you could go for turning in strict neutral, but I think that on the first turn, since it's so early in the game, you could research and development would be a really good thing. Plus, your odds of getting that are better, much better than your odds of turning a strict neutral. So what do we got next? Russia. Well, since Russia's not at war, it doesn't make much sense to do anything after somebody else's combat movement. Turning a strict neutral, I mean, there's really only 1 or 2. There's Turkey there, but I wouldn't turn Turkey myself, because I wouldn't want to open up the gateway for Germany and Italy to come through there. I want, if I'm the Allied player, I want the oil fields for myself. I don't want to give them another avenue to get through there. Afghanistan is another one, but I mean, really, Russia's not going to get any IPCs for that. Afghanistan isn't worth anything. That's from my demonstration earlier. Let's just get that off the board. So a strict neutral on the first turn isn't a really good option, because you have to be adjacent to it. The only other neutral territory that is adjacent to you is already pro-Axis up there in Finland, so that's no good. So really, research and development is your only option, your only viable option. Even if Germany or Japan over there decided to attack you in the first turn, I mean, moving a dude out isn't really going to help you. You're only saving $3. You might as well take that spy and try to develop a weapon, especially in the first turn. Okay, so Japan. I think Japan would definitely be research and development, because there are no strict neutrals. By the way, I forgot to mention on that turning a strict neutral, I'm going to exempt Mongolia from that. Mongolia is kind of different already than all the other strict neutrals. It has its own rules, so I'm going to exempt that one. So there are no strict neutrals that you're adjacent to in Japan. You could move over to one in your turn and then later try to turn it, but I don't think it helps you that much. So I would go for the research and development and try to get that weapon on the first turn. You could wait though. Take your first turn, like if you go and do a J1 attack, then you're opening yourself up to counterattacks by the Americans and by the Anzac and by Britain. So you could hold off and see if maybe you have a battleship or something that is exposed and they want to try to take it out. So you could do that, but still in the end, it's probably not going to be that expensive of a unit. Like it's probably more likely going to be on the land here. And again, like Russia, all you're going to be doing is saving a dude or an artillery, and that doesn't really help you as much as a weapon would in the first round. So the U.S. would be next, and you know what would be a good idea if you were them, if you were the first turn? If Japan decided to go J1, you could save your fighter here. You could fly that down to Australia, or you could take one of the boats, but the fighter is worth more. You could save your fighter after he's made his combat move and he's ready to take the Philippines. Say, okay, I'm going to use my spy, and then you just fly this guy down to Australia. I don't know why I put that fighter on there. I don't like these ones. Had to drill holes to put the flight stands in. So and these ones are almost impossible to drill a hole through without going all the way through. So let's just grab one of these other fighters. These are from the America game. These are cool looking fighters, so that's what I'm using. So let's put him in the Philippines. Anyway, that's what I would do. But if he doesn't go J1, research and development. That's what I would do. Because you could turn a strict neutral, but well, actually you couldn't. You're not adjacent to any strict neutral, so that's not even an option for you in the first turn. So yeah, research and development would be the one to go for. Maybe Japan decides to go Pearl Harbor. I've never seen that, but maybe they do. You could also remove a unit from there, or move one in. If you didn't take enough stuff, you can move something down there. China doesn't get to play in the spy game. They just don't have their shit together back in 1940. Nowadays they would be all over that, but not then though. UK to me, this would be obvious. If the UK rolls and becomes the spy in the first round, why wouldn't you take one of those battleships out of there? Yeah, just because Germany's going to attack both of these places. Depending, like if Germany has a battleship left right here, then you can't move this one because you want to escape, right? You couldn't go through there and go through that battleship. So you would take this one and you would move it out. But otherwise, I think I would be more inclined to go and move the other one out, because this one is only protected by one fighter for scrambling, and this one is protected by 3 fighters in here for scrambling. So if you were able to move this one, it can go 3 spaces. Or no, that one can only go 2, can't it? There's no naval base up there. Yeah, so you know what? The other one would be the one. I would go with this battleship here. 1, 2, and I'd go right there. Then you got a battleship and a cruiser there, and your fighter there, and those guys are probably going to go. They might go here. They could go here, but that battleship, he's definitely going after the Italians if they win the spy in the first round. That would be way better than research and development or turning a strict neutral, because you might only get 1 turn in the game as the spy. So you want to take full advantage of it. That's $20 right there that you could save. And think of how many things you could take off with that. First of all, you're going to take off an Italian boat or 2 with it, and then they're going to have to come after you, probably with German fighters, and you get to kill 1 or 2 of those too. So that would definitely be the best thing for the UK. And Italy's next. Well, that one's an easy choice too. If it was me, I'd wait until and see if they were going with the Taranto raid, which it's likely they would. Then I'm taking this battleship and I'm going somewhere else. I'm moving over here. Or if he goes for the Taranto raid and you don't think he's brought enough stuff, great, bring this guy over here. See how much stuff you can take off him. But the safe play for sure would be to take that battleship out of there. And like I said, with the UK, that's a better option for sure than trying to turn them neutral. And I don't even think that you're not even next to any strict neutrals on the first round. So that's not an option. And research and development, even that, you only get $10, so that's not all that great. So yeah, that battleship is worth $20, and you'll want to save that if you get if you get it on the first turn. So Anzac would be next. Oh, Anzac. Uh, you know, I think probably research and development, because I don't think Japan is going to go after anything of Anzac. So you can't really get anything out of the way. I mean, even if somebody was to attack this guy, who cares? Or these guys, you don't really care about that either. So probably research and development. Again, they're not adjacent to any strict neutral, so that's not an option for you. Um, Strict neutral, or I mean, our research and development in the first round is really your only option. And France, I mean, that one's a no-brainer. That's either moving somebody in or out of France, and it's probably out of. I'd move that fighter that's sitting there on France. I'd move him out and I'd put him right in England there, right on London, and he'll be there for the rest of the game, right, just ready to defend London, or even if you could, if there was any transports or anything like that that Germany left exposed, then you can go after those too. You'd have two fighters there, so he might even be able to take on a cruiser and a transport, or a cruiser and three transports. Man, I'd go after that if I was the French player. I mean, you could save one of your boats, but I think that fighter would be more useful for the rest of the game. So that's what I would do if I won the spy in the first round. So, without further ado, let's put this above the board. It's got some shadows there. Let's see who gets the spy. Now, all I have right now is this ninja. I'm going to look for a spy, but we're going to roll all these things. See who gets to go first with the spy. This is probably France's only chance, so France is really hoping that they get it. Okay, we got 2 6s here. So those two guys get to re-roll again. 5. We have a winner, and it's Anzac. So Anzac wins, and you know, if I'm an allied player, then I'm thinking, okay, that's the guy that I wanted to win the spy the least. But still, you know, that's okay. Anzac is going to go ahead and try and develop a weapon. So that's how that works, and that's how we're starting this game off. Is Anzac is going to have the spy. So we take our marker, put it down. You know, let's. I was wondering where I should put this. Let's just put it on the turn tracker, and we'll leave it there. And then the next guy gets to put his marker there with the spy on top of him. I'm not sure if I mentioned this or not, but I'm going to make it so that you can't win the spy twice in a row. So the next time we roll the dice, Anzac is out. They're not going to get a dice in the next time we roll. And the reason for that, I mean, Anzac is no big deal. Sure, Anzac gets it twice in a row, haha. But think of if Germany got it, or if Japan, you know, if they got 2 or 3 in a row at the beginning of the game, it would pretty much be game over. I mean, they'd be turning strict neutrals and developing weapons and, you know, saving battleships and I don't think that would turn out very well. So I'm going to say that you can't have the spy 2 turns in a row. So Anzac dice does not go in the second time. He does not get to roll dice. So let us start. I'm already up there. Let's move over to the other side of the board, and we'll start playing Germany. I'm going to do a first turn run through to begin with. So I'm going to show you what I would do as a German player. Other people have done this before. The difference with this one is that I will be using my Special Forces unit, which you see he's on Germany. Now every nation got a Special Forces unit on their capital. In Great Britain, they got one on London and on Calcutta. And also heavy tanks. This is a heavy tank here. And I've got one, this one is on Western Germany. This is Western Germany, this is Germany, and this is Poland. So that makes it a lot easier. So we got Western Germany, Germany, and Poland. You can see how crowded it would be in there if I had all this stuff over there, right? So, purchase units and repair units. Nothing has been damaged so far. I use these coasters here for mobilization zones. I've got a Russian one there, and we look down over here. I don't have one for France because they're never going to buy anything. Sorry, France. And here's one for for Italy. Sorry, here's the Italian one right here. These guys are on um, southern Italy. They're on Rome. So first turn. Let's get all these fighters out of the way so we got room to work in Europe first. Here, let's move this like this. There we go. Okay, now something I saw online which was really a good idea that a guy was saying, if you're using these flight stands, like what you can do here. Let's move this one off of here first. What he was saying, and what a great idea. Where you're sitting, and that's where I'm sitting right now. If you were Germany, you want to be sitting at the top of the board here. That's one movement. So your plane is facing away from you in the 12 o'clock position. If it took you 2 movements to get here, turn them this way. Then you know that plane went 2. It went 3. He's in the 6 o'clock position, and then 4. He's in the 9 o'clock position. So set these up where they're going and put them in those positions. So that's 3, and then you go, okay, 10:30. No, I guess if you're going 5, then you can remember there's only going to be a couple of them, right? So this guy is going 1, 2. So he goes in this position here. Okay, and let's see. This guy's going to go up there too. 1, 2, and he's in this position. Gotta try to remember to keep him right now. I want to get some tactical bombers in there. These are coming in. They can go 5 spaces. 1, 2. So they've gone 2. I'm going to get another tactical bomber in there. 1, 2. What should we do with this battleship? Well, let's get these in here first. We got the subs. They're going in there. And not this one. This one here can go 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, let's bring in the fighter. This is 2, so that goes in the 3 o'clock position. This one would be 1, 1, 2, 3. So he's going in this position. Same with this guy. He's gone 3. He's in that position. It doesn't matter if we spill out over here. See what else we got here. This guy, 1, 2, 3. So he would be in this position. And let's put this in there. So he would have also gone 3. So he's in this position. And I think the battleship should go down here because he can scramble 3 fighters there, but he can only scramble 1 fighter up here. So the battleship is there to try to take those out faster. Oh, let's get this battleship back up here. He thought he could escape already. You don't have the spy. Okay, so last bomber. Where are we going to put that? You're probably screaming at your computer right now. Put it here. Put it here. Let's see. We got 2 at 3, 2 at 4, 2 at 2 here. We got 2 at 3, 3 at 4, 4, 4. Let's go up top here. So this guy here, he's coming from Germany. 1, 2, 3. So that's in the 3 o'clock position. Okay, now that's the boats. Okay, now the obvious one over here, we're going to go after France. Rather than take the time to move it down on the battle board, let's just move it over here. These things work pretty good too, because you can just set them up on here. So let's move these guys aside, move them up here. This one here is a special forces unit, and this one is a heavy tank. Further to the heavy tank videos that I did, I've added 2 heavy tanks to the game, and that's one on London. He's on another blow-up box at the bottom of the board there, and to balance that out, I put one on Japan. London had, or Great UK had 3 heavy tanks. Sorry, that are just like the heavy tanks that I own. So I figured, you know, these guys should have one there, and they never left the island because it's tough to move them, and I've made it tough to move them in this game as well. You'll see that later. They're not going to move much. But to balance out this heavy tank, that's why I've given Germany 2. Now here, this is right beside them, right, in Western Germany. So we're going to move this in. Cut that out. And we're going to move in these mechs, mechanized infantry. We're going to move in the artillery. We're going to move in the dudes. The Special Forces unit is sitting on Germany, and it's 2 spaces. This actually works out pretty good how these things are set up here, because on the board over there it's 2 spaces as well. So he can do land movement 2 spaces. The Special Forces unit works out really well. The way that I've set it up to move as many spaces as it does as a paratrooper and everything, I really put some thought into it. And you know, if I'm going to put a unit into a game, I want it to be able to do something. Other people, you know, they okay, let's make cheaper anti-aircraft artillery or something. You know, like that's just cannon fodder. You know, if you don't need more cannon fodder, you've already got infantry. So if you're going to put a union in, and you're going to make more rules and everything, might as well make it a good unit, give it a chance to do something. So what else are we going to put in here? We should probably bring some of these units in from over here. So I'm going to put 2 of these into this one, because I like to go after both of these countries to begin with. You see these things here, I've already put them upside down because I know that these are the areas that I'm attacking. So I'm going to put those 2 there. I'm going to put these 2 over here under this. You want to go with overwhelming odds against France, and you want to try not to go with any aircraft, because you don't want to take a chance at losing one of your planes to that. There's so many units that you can use on the board for the Germans that you don't need to use those. Okay, so I'm going to need something else to go into here. So let's move a tank into there, and then let's move these 2 tanks into France. And what else do we got for tanks there? Here, this one in southern Germany. Is that, yeah, 1, 2, there we go. Remember that railway that I have there, that's only for non-combat movement. You can't use it for combat movement. Now we might as well take these 2 things. Here, let's put a chip on there. So that's 2 more artillery. There we go. So what do you think? You think that's enough? These 2 cancel each other out, these 2 cancel each other out. You know what? Just to be on the safe side, let's go with another tank over here. And after we move the rest of our units, then we'll check back and see. Okay, so I've also set up a hospital here, and if you go and watch the video that I had before, this is adjacent to this. So if any of the infantry die or is a casualty, then they have a second chance at life here. But I haven't done that for France. I didn't put one in here, a land hospital, or here, because I figured, you know, all those guys are going to be out of there real quick, and who cares if I save one of them, right? So I've given them a hospital ship instead. I think that I'll be able to use that more throughout the game. They can just go and they can go sit beside anywhere else and help out the Allies. They could even stay there or come over here if there's going to be a Normandy landing. Might as well use that instead of a land hospital that save 1, maybe 2 guys. So these 3 are going in here. Now let's go in and take this out. That and these are tanks right here. Might as well use this. That's 1, 2. So he goes. That's 1. That's 2. Might as well use both of these, because he's going to keep going down here. That's where I want to put him in case of a Taranto raid, and that's 1, 2. Or no, that's just 1, isn't it? Okay. This guy's going to go into here, but that's a non-combat move, so we won't worry about that right now. Might as well go with these artillery in here. I know I'm not going after Russia for the first couple of turns, so it doesn't matter if I'm moving away from the Russian border. You're better off taking as much as you can in there and losing as little as you can by taking them out quicker. Let's see, these units on the border, they won't get used. This is going to be a non-combat movement, moving these guys over here. What am I missing? Oh, over here we got this sub. You could go no, you couldn't go after that. That's 3 away. We're definitely going to go after this one though. All we have to do is take this guy out, and then this guy dies automatically. So we're going to take that chance. He's got just as much chance of beating you, but still, you got a chance of taking off 2 boats, and he's only got a chance of taking off 1. So I think those are good odds. Let's see, do I have any planes left? No, I don't. Take a look at this again. Am I missing any units that I could use? No, you know, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, and these guys aren't going to get used this turn. All right then, let's move this over here. Let's commence to rolling. Actually, maybe I should put this over here. That's too much light. There we go. Okay. So, first things first. Let's go for this one up top here. So we got 2 submarines, and there's a destroyer there, so it's not a first shot sneak attack or anything. 2 subs, missed. And I've got 2 fighters. And those are misses. Wow, we're not doing so well. And then these 2 are paired with these 2 with combined arms, so that makes these at 4 instead of 3, and this is at 4, so that's 3 at 4. We really need some hits here, Germany. We're not doing so well so far. 1, 2, 3. These symbols here, you probably know that, but those are 1s. So that's 3 hits. Before I take anything off, though, I want to shoot back and see what happens. By the way, I've decided, I forgot, that the UK player has decided that they are not going to scramble any planes into either one of these attacks. So we've got a destroyer, a cruiser, and a battleship. So 1 at 2, 1 at 3, and 1 at 4. So that's 1 hit. Okay, so what did I have there? I had 3 hits. So we're going to go sideways and then these 2 off. So those 2 are dead. And then 1 hit. Obviously, we're going to take one of these things, a submarine. And we're doing pretty good up there, aren't we? Okay, so do you think we should retreat? Nah, let's keep going. Okay, submarine, missed. 2 fighters, gotcha. And then the battleship, 1 at 4. Come on, got him. Das Boot gone. So, and the battleship is gone. Don't you wish you had the spy now? And down here, we've got 2 submarines. Got 1 hit. And what else we got there? So we got 1, 2 at 3. So 1 hit. 2 hits. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 at 4, because these are combined arms again. So we have 2 hits already. And we riddled him with bullets. That's 5 hits. So that's this on its side, 1, 2 hits, 3, 4 hits. So we have 2 at 3 and 1 at 4. And oops. That's the problem. We were using the wrong dice. Okay. That's 1 hit, 2 hits. So, that's kind of a choice, isn't it? you could lose those 2 subs, or you could lose 1 sub and damage your battleship. But if you damage your battleship, then these things could come in and hit it. If it's laying on its side, then, and I was the UK player, then I'm inclined to go after the battleship. So you know what? I'm going to take off the 2 subs. There we go. Okay, so what else we got here? Just give me a minute to move all this around. Okay, let's go after France there. You can't see it as well as I can, but don't worry, I won't cheat on you. So, we have, remember the Special Forces unit is like an artillery in the fact that it adds 1 to these. And you know, some people wonder why. Some people have questioned me on that. And it's the nature of the Special Forces unit. You see that they all moved in at the same time, but that's not really what happened if this was real. These guys, the Special Forces unit, they're the best of the best of the best. They're not just, you know, elite units. These guys are very, very rare. And they're the kind of guys that, you know, they went in the night before or the day before and under the cover of darkness, and they're blowing up bridges and you know, to prevent counterattacks and disrupting communications, and they're just basically being shit disturbers and making it easier for everybody else to attack. And so that's why they're going to help one guy and boost him up to a 2 instead of a 1. So let's see what we have here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus your mechanized infantry, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 at 1, but we have 3, and here's another one, 4. So 5 at 1. We'll just do that first. Move this back for you. Ooh, look at that, good roll. So Germany got 2 hits. If I had more dice, I would just put them aside. But let's do this instead. We'll keep these up here, and I want to keep track of these because remember, we're not using a hospital for them. That's right. Okay, yeah. So let's just take those off as we go. So that's those, and then we got 1, 2, 3, and 4 of these is 7 at 2. Is there anything else at 2? Nope. So 7 at 2. Let's use 2 of these Italian dice here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Holy crap. Yeah, sorry about that, France, but you're going down. Let's take out this thing as well. But these guys are going to shoot back, so better keep track of them. Yeah. But the anti-aircraft is not going to shoot back, so we're not worried about that. What else? We got at 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a special unit forces unit is 5. So that's 5 at 3. 1, 2. So we'll take off these 2 cannons, I guess. They're the 2 artillery. And what else do we have? Oh, we got the heavy tank here. That's at 4. Nope, that's at 3, sorry. They attack at 3 and they defend at 4. So 1 at 3, and he misses. You know what, I forgot about that too. We're going to put 1 of these infantry back on because this thing can absorb hits. So he's absorbed 1 hit for the first round. I'm going to try to remember my own rules here. What an idiot. Okay, so we're fighting back now. So we've got 6, 7, 8, and that's it. 8 at 2. Yeah, we should do, oh, yeah, we'll just use 3 of these. 8 at 2. 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 hits. We'll just count them up. That's 3 hits. And then at 3, we've got 1, 2, 3. So 3 hits plus three dice. 3, 4. And then at 4 we have 1, 2. So we have 4 hits, 5 hits. So this is going to take 1 hit, and we take off 4 more. So all of these guys are off now. We gotta, these ones get to go through second round. These guys don't. All right. So Germany's going to go again. So we have 1 and 4 is 5, and we have 3 of these and 4. Okay, so 1 at 1 missed, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. Sorry, 7 at 2. Let me count that again. We had 1, and then we have 3 and 4, 7 again. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there. This is what happens when you play with little army men on the internet. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3. And that's it. So 3 hits, and so that's this second hit that this gets. We'll just put a red chip under that so we know that that's been damaged twice. And this one, and this one, and this one. No, just 2. Sorry, just 2 of them. Okay, and we have 4, 5 at 3. 1. These 3s aren't doing too well, are they? And oh, I forgot this one too. So another one at 3. 1, and missed that one. Okay, and we've already removed the casualties. So shooting back, we got 1, 1. Just 1 and 2, okay. Missed, and we have 1, 2, 3 at 3. There's 1 hit, and we have 1, 2 at 4. And we got 2 hits, so 1 of these and 1 of these. Okay, so these match up with these. So that's 6 at 2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. How many do we have left here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's everybody. So these ones were off. So 4. So that's 2 at 3 and 2 at 4. 1 hit, 2 hits. We could do our second hit on this one, and then take off 1 more. I think we'll take a mech off, mech infantry, and these are all done. So everybody is off there. Now we have one more thing to do. What do we have here? We have 5 infantry. Let me just go grab my other dice. If you were watching earlier, the video that I made earlier, infantry casualties get a second chance at life. Right now they're casualties. We're going to see if they die. If I manage to hit one of these symbols, that's a 12 on the 12-sided dice. These are the America dice. If I hit any one of those, then those save the infantry unit. Oh, holy crap! I already got one. So this one. So one of these units is in the hospital. There we go. That's how that worked. Okay, so what else do we have here now? Any more attacks? Okay, we've got this attack over here. So let's grab the dice and count them up. We have 6 infantry and 2 artillery. So that's 4 infantry, 4 at 1, 1. And then we have 4 at 2. That's 2 artillery paired with 2 infantry. So that's 1, 2. And then we have a fighter and 2 tanks and a tactical bomber left. So that's, we have 2 plus 3 at 3, 2, 3, 4, and 1 at 4, 5. So we got them all on the first turn. That's a good thing. Let's just roll these dice. They're neutrals anyway. That's 1 hit, 2 hits. Okay. And while we're at it, I do have a hospital in the territory adjacent. Let's see. I'm taking off 2 infantry for the Germans. Let's just see if any of them survive. Look at that. Another one survived. So that's 1 infantry off. You know, it would be easier. Just take that off. I have 5 left. That was easy enough. And I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to flip this over. Okay, there we go. What's left? Do you see anything left? Yep, that's all our attacks. Okay, so non-combat movement. Now we can use those railways if we want. My railway here, if you didn't see my other video, it goes basically from southern Italy. It goes up through here, up through France, and then into here, and then into here. But so I've pretty much taken everybody off of here. I mean, I could move these things if I want to, but I don't really want to. It doesn't help me out. So the railway is not going to really help me out this turn. I also put a small railway down here, but I'm not going to move up to here. And you know, one space on a railway is the same as just walking over 1 space, so that's not going to help me either. So the railways aren't going to come into effect on Germany's first turn, and that's not a surprise. Let's put this down and do our non-combat moves. Okay, we can't move, yeah, let's move all these before we move the planes, because then it gets kind of crowded in there again once I move the planes back. So on Germany here, what do we have? We have a heavy tank. So it's just as easy actually just to move them right over here like that. And we've got 11 infantry. I'm going to move 6 of them over here like that. Actually, I'm going to move more than 6, so I'll just take 2 of these off and put this one over here. I'll put these ones over here, and then these ones are going to go down to here, and these ones are going down to here. This one's going to go down to here. So he is going to take control of this. Hopefully I'm not off the camera there. I'm not really looking at the camera. So they have that. And there's this one over here. Let's move 2 of these up. So we'll need another unit. And take this one off, put this one on. I like to try to keep it clean, so they've taken control of that. What else? These guys, they're in a good enough spot, I think. But these ones, oh no, these ones were in the fight, weren't they? Yeah, I thought they were back, but okay. What else do we have back here? Might as well move these artillery up to Poland here. So we'll just put them here. No, actually I'm going to move one of them down to Slovakia, Hungary. There we go. And, oh, I did have one more attack. Darn it. Pretend I didn't do that. I'm a little nervous because I'm trying to talk to you and film and do all this at the same time. I would do this better normally, so just pretend I haven't started my non-combat movement yet. These guys here needed to attack these guys here. My apologies. So that's 2 infantry. I hit them once and I got a tank and I missed that one. And they've got 2 at 2 and they missed. So got 2 infantry again and a tank, and they got them that time, and they have 1 left. They have an artillery left and they missed them. So these guys are gone. No big surprise there. They have taken this territory as well. That is on there. This, by the way, this is from Fortress America. These pieces are normally gray and they're city markers, but I use them to to show where the victory cities are in this game. So wherever there's a victory city on the board, I've placed one of those. Okay, now we can move our planes back, and that's why we did it this way. So these have gone 2, so they can go 2 more. So 1, 2, there we go, and 2, and these have gone 2, and they can go 3 more. That didn't work out very well, did it? I should have did what was left for movement. Now these ones here, they got 2. I want to put a couple of these on the border here, or on the coast. I know they're not going to get attacked. These ones are going to go back here. This one's going to go back here as well. I'm not going to place them in Germany because I'm more concerned out this way right now. There's a pact. Russia cannot attack me, and I'm not planning on attacking him for a couple of more turns. So I don't need to take all my units over that way yet. This one here, let's move this guy up to here. Get him a little closer. And you know when you've moved everything that you're done. Let's move this tactical bomber back to Germany, just so Germany doesn't feel like they're all alone. And this one here is going to continue on. He was up here. He went 1, 2, 3, and he's going to go on southern Germany or southern Italy. And if Great Britain decides to attack this, then he can scramble into that zone if he thinks it's a good idea. It depends on the odds and how much stuff Great Britain takes into there if they decide to. So, I guess I could move my hospitals too if I wanted to. So I can look around and decide if where I'm going to attack next. For instance, if I wanted to attack here next, and I don't see why I shouldn't because I've got enough guys here. And combined with the tanks, I could probably take that. So I'm going to move my hospital up here. The hospital's called 1, by the way. The land hospitals and the hospital ships, they go normal movement for a ship. So 2 spaces and 3 if they start at a naval base. Flown all my planes back. I think that's it. So I'm going to put my stuff on. Now I'm going to put these on Germany. You might be wondering why I purchased units this way. This people like to maybe not purchase anything so that it keeps the UK guessing whether or not you're going after do a sea lion attack. This does not dispel anything to do with a sea lion attack. This guy is going to be useful in there. So are infantry, and so is a transport. So while some people might not buy anything at all, or buy 2 transports and an aircraft carrier, this does the same thing. I save some money, so I'm going to have extra money for Germany next turn. Here I've only spent 15, 22 IPC, so they've got 8 left plus all the money they're going to get this turn. So let's just put this on Germany, because the transport can pick them up from Germany just as well as they can from Western Germany. We're going to put the transport on right here. And the Special Forces unit. Now, if you've got a choice of putting it on here or here, I think the better choice is Western Germany, because there's an air base in Western Germany, and these guys can be used as a paratrooper. So I mean, they can go 4 spaces, so they can go all the way over here, or they can go all the way up and land in here. So let's definitely put him on the air base when I have a choice between 2. And collect my money. You know what? I really don't like income trackers. I find that people bump them when they're playing, and then you lose track, and so you're collecting the wrong income. And once you start collecting the wrong income, you can collect the wrong income for the longest time. So I like to just count it up, and I find it's easy. So I know Germany starts at 30, right? So then I look, okay, I'm up 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm up 11. I'm not down any, so I'm up 11. And then I've achieved 2 victory objectives, and I already brought these out because I knew that I was going to have them. These ones are worth 5 each, and these ones I haven't got. I knew I wasn't going to. I wasn't even trying to get them, so I knew I wasn't going to get them. So 11 plus 10 is 21, plus the $19 for these guys is 40, plus the $30 for starting income. And then usually what I do after that is then I go again and check, because it doesn't take that long to do this. And I find you're going to get an accurate read every single time of what you got. So 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, plus the 19 is 30, plus the 10 for the national objective is 40, plus the 30 starting income is 70. So Germany should have 70 IPCs now. And that's the German turn. So I'm going to take a little break here, and then I will be back to play the Russian player. So I'll see you in a bit. And we're back. It's time for the Russians' turn. Before I get to that though, I was saying that Germany collected 70 IPCs, and in case it wasn't clear, Germany collects 70 IPCs, but they saved 8 from their turn, their starting income, so they actually have 78 IPCs. I should have been more clear about that. And also, I forgot to put this on. When France lost their capital, they get a partisan marker. If you missed that earlier video, what that means is the partisan marker is going to go on their capital. You can't see, but I threw it on Paris over there. And so when France's turn comes along, then they get to roll 1 die, and a 1 to 3 means they will take off that much money off of the Germans, and that money goes to the bank. A roll of 4 to 6 means that nothing happens. So at least France gets to do something during the game. They get to roll a dice once. Excuse me. Okay, so Russia. This shouldn't take as long as the Germans. For one thing, I mean, I started the video early and showed a bunch of other things, but also because Russia is not at war with anybody, so they can't attack anybody, and so that's going to make it a lot easier. This is what I've purchased here. I've purchased a fighter, 7 infantry, and a special forces unit. Now you only get 5 special forces units during the game. Same with heavy tanks, you only get 5 of those. So there's not a race to buy them. You can only have 1 of them per territory. So if you had 5 of them on in this small space here, then you're going to have trouble playing with them all in one space. So I wouldn't recommend putting more than 3 on if you were, well, pretty much any nation that is over here. Excuse me, like Germany or Russia or Italy. Great Britain has a little more room, and the UK and Japan have a little more room. But if you're not going to use them, then just save them for later in the game. So when I'm building up here, I'm probably only going to build up 3 Special Forces units. So let's just move these back onto the side here. Okay, so I don't have any units to repair in the repair units phase. There's no combat movement to show you. I'll show you here because they're a major power, they've been given 2 hospitals. Doesn't really matter where you put them right now. I decided to put them behind one space behind the lines here, because in case Germany does decide to attack, then at least these guys get a second chance at life here. And they'll move back as Germany moves in, and not that it really matters, but because Germany is, because they can't be attacked, but still, you might as well move them back if you can't use them up there. So that's where my hospitals are. When I'm playing Russia, it's not that much different than when most people play Russia. You're just kind of setting up for the inevitable Barbarossa onslaught that Germany likes to do. That's what I do when I'm Germany, and that's what most people like to do. But I don't like to just walk with everybody, like just get everybody out of there. I like to leave at least 2 guys behind in each territory here. Make it a little more difficult for them to get through there. I don't like to just give anybody a free space. So I'm going to leave 2 on the front lines here, and this one over here, this one's a little different. Because he's so close over here, and he doesn't have a lot of firepower. He only has infantry. I kind of like to put some more infantry on this one, because I want to make it really hard for him to take that. And then this one is going to go over here. I have a blow up box for these ones, so if you see me take them off the board, then this is where I'm putting them, is right here. I got these little flags at historical board gaming. Somebody from I can't remember the guy's name, and I'm sorry about that, but he made up his own task force markers, and with them there was these flags, and they're free to get from historical board gaming. So I combined them with the task force boxes that you get, and usually you just get this and you get the box. But I've taken the flag, and there's a finishing nail and an infantry with his gun cut off, and I glued him in there. That kind of looks cool. And then I had to match up the flags, but not all the flags matched the boxes, so I had to cut this one off and glue it on here. And there's a few of those around. But anyway, that's where these flags come from. So all of these guys here in Leningrad are over here. But I'm going to keep the camera moved this way. If I tell you I'm putting them in Leningrad, now you know where they're going. So these guys are going to stay here. The guy in Archangel, he's going to go to Leningrad. What else are we going to do here? Basically, you're just moving everybody into a defensive position. The guys in Russia, you see them there in the box next to the other one there. They're going to move up. So this guy here can move 2 spaces, the Special Forces unit. Let's just move them up to here. Let me see, did I move everybody back that I could? I'm just making sure, just in case Germany decides to go early. I consider the second round to be early. I think that the Germans are usually more likely to go in the 3rd round. So what else do I want to move up from Russia? Might as well move my infantry up 1. I could have put a railway here, and I thought about that. I thought about having the railway go from here down to the Middle East. But I kind of think that the Russians are got their hands full with Germany, and they probably can't help India out that much anyway. So let's move this up to here. Let's move the artillery up to there, and we have the heavy tank. They start with a heavy tank, the Russians do, in Germany. So we're going to move the heavy tank forward as well. We're going to try to get that to Leningrad. The heavy tank starts on Moscow, though it doesn't start on Leningrad, so it has to go there. I'm just basically going to move these units up. These are coming from Russia. There's not really a lot to say about all of that. It's pretty standard. I'm going to move these up too because they can move to try to protect my city as much as possible over here. Or not the city, I'm sorry, the industrial complex. You can move the planes up too, but it's it's not that important. I'm going to move them up a little bit. I'm going to leave the guys down in Caucasus though, because they're on a railway anyway, so they can move up here real easily. I'm just going to leave them down there because if they do go to war right away, then they have the option of going down and gaining a national objective by taking pro-Axis neutral territory. So I'm going to leave them there for now. And like I said, the railway can get them further. So there's not much else to do here. I have these anti-aircraft guns, and if you watch my video on railways, then you know that that's the only thing that's going to stop an attack on them. But I'm not really too worried about that either. I am going to move one up, I guess. I'll move one of these things up and get him closer to the railway. So I'll move him up here from Moscow. And then to change that in for another one. I always like to have one on Moscow, though, at least one of those things, because when Germany comes, they're probably going to be coming with planes, and anytime you got a chance to take any planes out, that's a good thing. This thing here, the submarine, he's down in Archangel there. I'm going to move him up to the convoy zone up here. You can see him up here. So I moved him from down here, and these things are kind of in the way, but I moved him up to here. There's a convoy zone there. And so he's convoying, or he's not at war, but when Germany decides to attack, he will be convoying Norway if he's still alive. And then we've got on this side of the board, if you recall, I was saying, oh, there's some light there, sorry. If you recall, I was saying what the rule to this game as far as Japan versus Russia goes. So I'm not going to worry about spreading out too much. I think you're better off keeping your people grouped together. I am going to move one of these things up to here to in case he decides to attack with planes. And I think that I'm going to move these guys around as well. Let me just grab some chips here and an anti-aircraft artillery. So let's leave that one there. And let's take off this. So let's go 2 there, and 2 there, and 1 there. There we go. I'm spreading them out, but I'm trying to keep them nearer to the front, just to dissuade Japan, but not give them the impression that I'm putting everybody there and that I'm a threat to take Manchuria, because I would like them to just ignore me if I'm the Russian player, like go attack China, attack America, do anything but attack me if I'm the Russian player. So that's what I'm going to do, just spread them out a little bit in case there's an attack. But they're going to stay on that side of the board. Normally, in a game without that rule, I'd be moving them all the way back to Moscow, except for the 6 that are on Amur. But I kind of like this rule. I like that there is a plausible way that Japan can attack over there, and that they can gain some IPCs out of it. But I also like the fact that they're not going to skate all the way across the frozen tundra and attack Moscow. I think that's just kind of ridiculous, but don't get me started on that again. So I think that's pretty much the Russian turn, and my income was 37, and so I'm up nothing, I'm down nothing, and I've achieved no objectives, so that's 37 IPCs. I will see you on the Japanese turn. And we're back, and it's Japan's turn. I realized when I was doing this earlier that it's hard to do the filming and to do the thought process that it takes to do a large attack like the German one. And I've decided that I'm going to go with a J1 attack here. All the cool kids are doing it for one thing, and the other is, I mean, we're trying to demonstrate how this all works, so might as well just go right ahead and attack everybody that we can. So I've already done the purchasing. You can see over on the mobilization zone that I have there, I've bought a transport, a minor complex, and a special forces unit, and I saved one IPC for Japan. So I'll show you what I've done here. Now here, these two bombers have come from Japan, and the cruiser has come from, I believe it's C Zone 20 up here. It's gone 2 spaces, and they're all going after this battleship. And we're also going after the Philippines. 2 planes flew off of here, and they went 1, 2, 3 right into here. So I'm going to need to move a carrier into the C Zone 35 in order to have a legal landing place for those, but I don't need to move them in right now. That can be done on a non-combat movement. And these 2 planes here, those are the ones that, sorry, not these 2, these are the 2 that came from the Caroline Islands, and they're in here along with these. Now the Special Forces unit came in from Japan. He came in on the cruiser, and also I think from up here, that's where the transport came down with an infantry. Oh no, they came from Japan. That came an infantry and a tank. Also brought the hospital ship down from Japan, so that if any of these are, if either of these 2 are casualties, then I get to re-roll them. I didn't need to use it on the land because I had 1 hospital on the land, and the only places where I'm attacking here and here are adjacent to this hospital. So this one I was free to use. I didn't need it anywhere else. I also have a guy come down here on Borneo, and he came from up here, I believe, on a transport. And let's move around to the other side up there. Okay, let's set this down. Now, up here on the land, here, I better move it over. So these guys just moved up, and these guys moved up, and some guys moved up from here, and they moved down from over here. Oh no, these guys moved up to here, and these guys moved down to here. Also a transport came down from here, bringing an infantry and an artillery. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to use that battleship that came from Japan. I wanted to use that for a landing shot. So that's what I've done, and I've placed the markers upside down everywhere where I'm attacking. I'm pretty sure that I remembered to do everything. This took me quite a while, so that's why I wanted to do this. I'm already up over an hour for this video anyway, and I think I might have to do a part 1 and a part 2 because I wanted to try to squeeze the whole game in, even though I know the first round is going to take longer than the rest of the game, but still it's going to take an awfully long time. So, what do you say we do some rolling here? Let's move that down. Okay. So, grab the Japanese dice. We're going to go into try to sweep out C Zone 35. That's the C Zone outside of the Philippines. So we have a sub, and they also have a destroyer, so there's no sneak shots. So there's a sub and a destroyer for the Japanese. We have 1 hit, and we have a fighter. That's a miss, and we have a battleship and a tactical bomber, which is at 4 because it's combined with the fighter. And there we go. That's 2 hits, and there was only 2 units there, submarine and destroyer. So let's roll for the Americans now. Ooh, look at that. They got 2 hits. So there was a battleship there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to damage the battleship and take off the sub. So take the American units off. There. Okay, let's just move this over now. Now you can see that I was rolling over there. Let's move this over here now. You don't need to see what I'm rolling. I'll be honest with you, I promise. Okay, so the unit's moving in now. We have an infantry but he's combined with the Special Forces unit. The Special Forces unit gives him +1 ability. So the infantry is at 2, and that's a miss. And then we have a tank and a Special Forces unit and a fighter. They're all at 3. And we have 2 hits. And then we have the tactical bomber, which is at 4. Just 2 hits. I missed the last one. So then the Americans will fight back. They have 2 infantry at 2. And they have 1 hit. And they have a fighter at 4. And that's 2 hits. So 2 hits each. Oh boy, here we go. Let's remove the tank and obviously the 2 infantry for the Americans. Okay, here we go again. So the Japanese have Special Forces unit and a fighter at 2 at 3, both misses, and a tactical bomber at 4, and that's a miss. Oh boy. And then the Americans have a fighter at 4. And they missed. A lucky thing for the Japs that time. So 2 at 3 for the Japanese, and they got the hit. And the Americans with the fighter, and they got a hit. So that's good for them because that forces the Japanese to lose this. But remember now, we have that, and we have, where's the guy? Right here. Now that this battle is over, well, wait a minute. We don't want to lose that, do we? If we lose that, then we don't take the Philippines. Darn. How about that? Okay, so let's lose the fighter. Japan lost a fighter already. Not good, guys. Not good. Okay, so we can roll the die 12 for the casualty, for the infantry casualty. And it's an 8, so he's deader than a doornail. Sorry, dude. You go back to the box. So where to next? Okay, tell you what, let's go to Hong Kong there. So Hong Kong, the Japanese have a shot with the battleship at 4, and it's a hit. So that's 1 casualty. And we have a 1 at 1 for the infantry, and 2 at 2. One's for the infantry and one's for the artillery. And we got a hit, so that's both of them. So then we roll back with the 2 infantry that are on Hong Kong. And look at that, they got 2 hits. Good for them. So that's these 2 off. And then the 2 infantry off for the British. So now, let's see, we had a hospital right here for the Japanese, which is adjacent to that territory, and they lost 2, so we're going to roll 2 D12. Well, if you added them both up, then those guys live, but that's not the way it works, so they're both dead. Sorry guys, you're out. So we can flip that over. Guess we could flip the one over in the Philippines as well. And this one we can flip over because he doesn't have to fight anybody. So what else we got? Let's try right here. So hopefully you can see that because I can't see the screen right now. So we have 3 infantry and an artillery. So that's 2 at 1 and 2 at 2. That's a miss at 1 and 2 at 2. Oh, 2 hits. Got snake eyes there. And yeah, that's both of them. Now they have a hospital right next to them as well. But first they get to shoot back, and they got a hit. So that's one Japanese, and he's again next to a hospital, so he gets to roll. So first we'll roll the Chinese guy laying on the ground. Let's see if he can get back up one of them. Oh, so close yet so far away. Okay, so then we have the Japanese guy. Oh, he lives. So we got one Japanese guy going into the hospital. Let's grab a dude there, and he goes into the Japanese hospital. Let's see. Yep, that's the one. That's the Japanese hospital. Okay. So what's next? Do we have any other attacks here? I'll see if we got something besides that battleship down there. Doesn't look like it. Nope. So we just got the battleship left. It's a battleship against a cruiser and 2 bombers. So we have 1 at 3 for the cruiser, miss. 2 at 4 for the bombers, 2 hits. So that's the battleship done. And we have 1 at 4 for the battleship, and that's a hit. So what do you want to lose? Should we lose a bomber? Should we lose? They both are worth the same. Well, the battleship's gone for sure. I think we probably should lose the cruiser, although, you know, cruisers are more valuable when you're playing with the Special Forces unit that I have here, because they can transport the Special Forces units. But I think I'm going to lose the cruiser anyway, because bombers are good for Japan. So is that it? Let's just look around, see if there's any more attacks. No, that looks like it. So we can flip all these over. And that one goes over. Yeah. Alright, so then we have non-combat movement. I don't know if you need to stick around for that. I can do the non-combat movement. And then when I go to do the Americans at the start of that, I can show you what I've done. That'll save some time on the video. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to pause it here now, and all my stuff is going on Japan, and the industrial complex is going to go right here on Shanghai. So after my non-combat movement, I'll put the transport in here and the Special Forces unit. And I will do, but before that I will do the non-combat movement. So I'll see you on the Americans' turn. And we're back after Japan's turn. I've done the non-combat movement, and I've taken their income. They were up 11 IPCs, and they did not have any national objectives. Probably after the next turn, if they manage to take the Money Islands, and I think they will, then that's when they'll start getting into their bonus money. But anyway, I can't remember where I moved everybody around, but I did it right away afterwards, and I know that I put them all in exactly the right spot, or the right amount of movement. Like the bombers, they flew back from where they were up there, taking out that battleship, and they've gone into here. They could go 7, and so that was 7 moves exactly. Well, I did get to use the railways for the first time in the game. There was 2 infantry and artillery here, and they took the rails down to here and down to here. So they went 2 spaces. That's the first time that we've used the railways in this game. I think that's about it. You see the markers down here. The flags on the battleships here. These battleships aren't actually on the board. They're just the markers. So if you step back here, so that's the one there that is in the Philippines. You see it's got the same marker on here, and then this one over here. That is the one that is where Formosa is there in Kwangtung. So that's the end of the Japanese turn. And now it's the Americans' turn, and I've already done a bunch of things for them. I have to try to do this as fast as possible because we're going through a cold snap here, and I turn my furnace off because the furnace is very loud, and if I turn it off too long then my house gets cold, so forgive me if I'm trying to rush through here, but it's been really cold here, like minus 30 or something like that, Celsius, which is geez, I don't know, just about minus 20 Fahrenheit, I guess, somewhere around there. So the Americans, they had 52 IPCs, and even though they're at war now, and they've declared war against Japan and Germany now, because Japan attacked them, they can enter the war on the first turn. So, but they still, their starting income is still only 52 IPCs. They'll get their bonus extra 20 IPCs at the end of this turn. So they bought three things. They bought a carrier. You notice the carrier here, these are magnets on top of them, so that they hold on to those flight stands pretty good, because you see the flight stands here, that they're brass flight stands, and they, you know, you can actually pick one of these things up with it. So that works really good. So I bought a battleship, an aircraft carrier, and 15 IPCs. I purchased the scheme American Minorities at War. This is another one of my house rules, and it's one of my favorites. And that cost 15 IPCs. So what happens here is I draw a token out of this bag here. You put them in a bag. You can put them in a cup if you want, but I put them in a bag because the bag looks way cooler than a cup. And then I'm going to draw one out. Shake them up first. Draw one out. See what we got. Okay, let's try to match that one up. That's why I took the pictures of these things here, because the writing on these is very small. And so all you have to do is match the picture up. There it is right there. See that? So let's read this. 65th Infantry Buccaneers, if that's how you pronounce it. This marker represents the Puerto Rican regiment that served to protect the Panama Canal and U.S. airfields in Corsica. They also saw action in France. 2 U's. Place 1 free infantry in West Indies with the 65th marker underneath it. Okay, so that's good. We get a free infantry, but wait, we can't do that yet. You see, there was a lot of racism back in the 1940 there, a lot more than there is now. Thankfully, it's there's a lot less now, but it's still there. Let's face it. But there was a lot more, and so the commanders and the other people serving in the military, they didn't necessarily want to serve shoulder to shoulder with minorities, which was a real shame. But anyway, so what happens is you have to roll a dice now, and on a roll of 1 to 3, then you get to use that marker, and on a roll of 4 to 6, then the marker goes back in the bag, and you basically, your 15 IPCs spent hasn't done you any good yet. You don't have to pay every turn, you just have to pay once to acquire this scheme. So let's just move over here. Come on, Puerto Ricans. 2. So we get to keep that marker. So what did it say? We got to put a marker under West Indies, I guess, right? With a free dude on it. So there goes the marker, and there goes the dude. There we go. So that's how that scheme works. And then once I'm done there, I just put this back underneath. There we go. Okay, so the Americans, I did more than just purchase. What I just did now, you have to do at the start of your turn, like in the purchase units phase. That's when you would draw the marker. But because I'm trying to do this quickly, as I said earlier, I've already done, I think, all of the non-combat movement. They didn't have any combat movement yet. So what I've done is these 2 things have come down here with an infantry unit from Eastern United States, and they've claimed this. So that's American now. They lost $2 for the Philippines, or 2 IPCs, and now they've gained them back with that. There was some things on the central U.S., and I moved them over to the eastern U.S., and also the factories have changed from minor to major on both sides, or all three of the factories, I should say. So this down here, this is what's on the US right now. And on here, this is where the ships are there. There's no ships on there yet. That's actually where the battleship's going to go. But I've got the marker there because there's going to be ships there. So, and over here, what's happened is I've moved all of the ships that were here up to Hawaii, and then these two moved from Hawaii back to here. Actually, I don't think that. This one didn't move. This one came back from Hawaii, but the one that went down to Hawaii, it took an infantry and an artillery with it, and then I moved one of the fighters from here into the C zone here, and I moved the fighter from off the Western States and into the C zone. And here you see this is what's on the Western States right now. And this is what's on the naval units that are sitting outside of Hawaii right now. So the Navy's starting to build up, and it's going to take a little bit more before they go at Japan. Well, by the way, for Japan, one of the things that I did do was put a blocker up here so that the Americans couldn't attack. And you know what? I should probably do that now that I'm doing non-combat movement. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put a blocker in midway because I'm not ready to take on the Japanese just yet. And I believe that's the end of the Americans' turn. So, we are going to put on the battleship, and this is in the eastern United States up there. I like to leave the hospital markers on the board, just so everybody knows where the hospitals are. You know, it doesn't take up that much space. Plus they're cool. They're red. Everybody likes red and hospital markers. And this is going to go over here, and this is why I left these in the water. So, and that's the end of my movement. And so the Americans are at 52 IPCs plus a bonus of 20. That's 72 IPCs, and they saved one, so they're at 73 IPCs. And that's the way it stands at the end of the Americans' turn. So it's China next, and you know what, let's just take China's turn. Why not? I know it takes a few minutes. So they've got 12 IPCs to begin with. Let's just grab 4 markers. That's the infantry that they get. Let's see, do we want to make any attacks? I think we should. Let's take these guys here and go into here and take the Flying Tigers fighter in there as well. That looks like the only sensible move that we have. Let's move one more of those guys in there as well. Okay, so what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 infantry and a fighter. Okay, so let's just roll that. Ooh. I've got to go grab the Chinese dice. We're not going to get to use them very often, so we might as well use them while we can. Alright, so 5 infantry and a fighter. That's 1 and 2. And then China gets to roll back with 3 dice, and they get to use this dice the whole game, so we'll just roll somebody else's. They hit once. So I'm just gonna, remember I gotta keep these aside because there's a hospital marker next to them. And also there's a hospital marker next to the Japanese guy as well. So now we have 4 at 1 for China. That's a miss. And the Flying Tigers fighter, that's a miss. And we got 1 for Japan. And that's a hit. So that's another dude off for China. Alright, so 3 infantry for China. Miss. I could see why these dice aren't going to do any good. Oh, there we go. Flying Tiger hit him. Okay, so and 1 for Japan. And that's a hit as well. So That's off and that's off. Okay, so now we have 3 casualties for China. So we get to, and we have a hospital in the adjacent territory. We're going to roll 3, and those are all misses. And we have 2 casualties for Japan, and there's a hospital adjacent to them, and they missed. So all of those guys are dead. Thanks for coming. Thanks for playing. Dead. Okay, so non-combat moves for China. We need to obviously move the fighter. Let's move one of these back up here like that. Let's go in, protect the road. Move this guy up to there. There's no real science behind playing China. They're just dudes. You just move them around. I mean, you can do a little bit of good, but for the most part, you're just trying to hang on as long as possible. All right then, that's China. So we're gonna put all 4 of them on right here, and why not? And then they are down 3, so that's 9. But they have a national objective of holding this road, and that is worth 5 IPC. So 9 plus 5, they get 14 IPCs, and that's China. I will see you on the UK turn. Okay, so it's Great Britain's turn, also known as the UK. I've already done the purchase units and the combat moves. There was no damage to repair on any facilities or capital ships yet, because it is the first turn. So let me show you what I've done here. This is what I've purchased for the UK in the Europe side of the board. Now you know that you, or if you don't know, you have to keep your economy separate as the UK. In Europe, they get 28 IPCs, and their capital is at London. And the stuff that you see here on this task force marker, that is what is in Great Britain right now. That, and there's also a French fighter that is up there currently. And then on the Pacific side of the board, this is what I've purchased. Heavy tank, and heavy tanks can only go on where there's a major industrial complex, and there is on India, so that's where I'm going to put it. And 3 infantry, so they get 17 IPCs, and they have to be spent and placed on the Pacific side of the board, and that's what I've done there. Okay, so show you what I've done for non-combat moves. Before I do though, you might have noticed when I was doing the Germany turn that I hadn't done that sub that was sitting there in C Zone 106, but I did catch it a while ago. I just haven't told you yet. Like I said earlier though, it was too much for me to try to film and do these moves at once, and that's why I've changed the way I've done it. So I did roll that, and the sub missed. It rolled a 4, and then the destroyer hit. It rolled a 1, so the sub was destroyed on that. So they still have the destroyer and the transport over there in New Brunswick. Anyway, as you can see, the bomber and the 2 fighters have left London, and they've come down. It's taken 5 movement spaces to get to here. I'm going for the Taranto raid. The Taranto raid was something that did happen historically in World War II, and let's just set this down since we're going to be spending some time in the Mediterranean here. Anyway, so it's really important in this game that you do this raid. I mean, you don't have to, but I think your odds of winning the game are lower, because this is a really critical area of the game, is this area in the Mediterranean. It's the gateway to Africa, it's the gateway to the Middle East, and it's the gateway to Southern Europe. So it's very critical who controls the Mediterranean. There's a lot of money that will go one way or the other depending on who wins that battle in there, whether it's Italy or whether it's Great Britain. And right now we're going to go with Great Britain, and then right after that we're going to go with Italy. And what happens on the first turn will go a long way to determining what direction that this game is going to go. And so you see right here, there's a battleship, a cruiser, and a transport on on southern Italy there, and that's what there was a town there called Taranto, I believe, and so not to be confused with Toronto, it's Taranto, and that's what we're attacking, and all of these things that you see here, see this fighter and this fighter and this bomber came down from London, and this fighter here came from Malta. This tactical bomber was on the aircraft carrier. You can hardly see it; it's underneath there. But the aircraft carrier, the cruiser, and the destroyer came from Sea Zone 98, and all of these things are in here. There's just not enough room to fit them in there, so I've placed them beside it. But these things are all in there. It's going to be these guys against these guys. Another thing that I've done here now. Okay, so there was a cruiser that was sitting here in Sea Zone 91 and a fighter that was sitting in Gibraltar, and they've come now. They're over here. There's the fighter there, and there's the cruiser, and they're going after these two boats right here. So one of the big things, one of the reasons you want to get Taranto out of there is because that battleship is really good at protecting transports, and you need transports in order to get your troops from Italy down to Africa. Whoever controls the Africa there controls a lot of money, and so Italy has to hang on as long as possible. They're not as powerful as the UK, but they need to hang on as long as possible, and also their national objectives. If they're able to keep the Mediterranean Sea here free of boats, then they get 5 extra IPCs for that. Also, if they're able to take every country or every territory, sorry, along the north here, from one end to the other, that's another national objective for them. So, I mean, it's really critical that Great Britain and Italy are successful for their own sides in this part of the board here. If Italy breaks through in Africa, then they're only a step away as well from the Middle East, and there's lots of money over there as well. And then India beyond that, and the back door to Russia is right there. So Great Britain needs to hold the line right here, and also Italy needs to hold the line, because once you get past Italy, then you're going up into Germany, right? So big fight here, and that's why this turn is very critical in the game, the first turn between these two over the Mediterranean. You want to take those transports out for sure, so that they can't bring any more troops down. The quicker you can take out the transports in the Mediterranean for the UK, the faster you can take the money in Africa and secure the Middle East. So that's what we've done. Let me see if that's what we've done in the Mediterranean, those two attacks there. Now moving over to the Middle East here. Now I have bought that industrial complex, and my plan is to put it here in Persia. This was this is Eastern Persia. I'm not putting it here. I want to put it here in Persia. This is normally supposed to be done on a non-combat move where I take this over, but in the interest of time, I've done my non-combat move just for this territory alone. Now that guy came from, there was a transport here in Sea Zone 98 and an infantry in Egypt, and the transports picked him up and went 1, 2, 3, and that's what this transport is here, and that's where that dude came from. and he took over the infantry that were that had belonged to Persia. And now this one here came from West India. He just walked over one space. And then there's a pro-Axis neutral that I need to take over as well. And that's these guys right here. I haven't done that battle. So this Special Forces unit, he went 4 spaces. He flew over from India. Now you got to remember, you can't fly over neutral territories, and this would be a neutral territory. I wasn't supposed to have that yet, so you couldn't just fly directly over. So what I've done is I flew 1, 2, 3, and then 4 spaces into there. The Special Forces unit, my Special Forces unit can go 4 spaces in the air. The bomber came from India. The infantry and the artillery came from India on this transport here. The transport had been sitting in C Zone 39, which is adjacent to India, as well as the cruiser. The cruiser is going to take a land shot into here. And what else do we have? Here, you can barely see it under there. Mechanized infantry. He came 2 spaces along the ground from Egypt. He's got a land movement of 2, so he came from Egypt. He went 1, 2. So that's what we've got set up here. I really want to take all of those territories because, as you can see, the Allies had set up the railway along there, but I can't use the railway until I own every territory here, or I can only use the railway as far as the territories that I own. So if I don't get this, then I can only use the railway over here. I can't use it over here. And this one, I'm not going after this one, so this one is empty. So I still won't be able to go north, but that's okay because Germany or Russia is not at war yet anyway. So let's see. I think that that is all of my moves so far. You might be thinking to yourself, well, you know, like a lot of people think that you shouldn't buy that complex that I bought here. That you should put more units on London to prevent a sea lion attack, because Germany's got a lot of money. If you remember in the first turn, they took out France. But the thing is, they have this heavy tank right here, and that is worth a lot. Because even though Germany has heavy tanks, if you've watched my video on heavy tanks, part 2, heavy tanks do not take part in amphibious assaults. They're waiting out in the water. They're waiting for the land to clear. So this guy, he's got 2 shots against him. He can absorb 2 shots before the 3rd shot kills him. So he's worth three players, or he's basically worth 3 dudes. And plus he defends at 4, so that's pretty good defense, and I don't mind putting them on there because I got to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of Sea Lion. I know it is very useful if you're an Axis player, and when I'm an Axis player, I don't like to use it either because it takes a lot sometimes to get a bunch of people together and to plan it all out, to set up the board and everything, and then if an hour into it UK loses their capital, then you already know who's going to win. And so that's why I'm not a fan of that, even though it's a good strategy. So I don't mind putting that extra heavy tank on there if that's going to prolong the game a little bit longer. But I'm certainly going to put these other dudes on UK, and I'm not going to forget about it. I'm going to put some more on the next turn as well. It's just I want to get that complex on there as soon as possible because with Japan going with their J1 attack, we need to get the UK player needs to get units over onto India as quick as possible. You can see they got the bombers over there, and so they're probably going to be doing strategic bombing raids against the Indian capital in Calcutta. And they don't start with a lot of money. They've already lost 4 IPCs down in Borneo down there, and they're going to lose more soon. And so they're not going to collect a lot of money, and if they got to be repairing damage, then they're not going to be putting any units on the board, and Japan's going to overwhelm them. So we need to get that complex onto Persia as soon as possible and sweep the Italians out of the Mediterranean and Africa as soon as possible, so that we can start moving units into India before Japan gets there. So that's why I'm taking a chance and buying that complex now. And so I think it's time we started rolling. What do you want to look at? Do you want to look at me rolling, or here? Let's let you look at the Mediterranean. Let's go right up front with Taranto there. I'll be honest. I won't fudge it. Okay, so we're gonna go. Let's see. We got 1 at 2 right here. That's the destroyer, and that's a hit. And we have 3 fighters at 3 plus a cruiser at 3. So that's 1 hit plus 2, 3 hits. And that's everybody. Geez, I didn't even need the bomber and the tactical bomber. So I took a lot there, but that's okay. I don't mind taking too much. It's better than not taking enough. So Italy gets to roll back with a cruiser. Yeah, let's use the Italian dice over here. They get a cruiser at 3, and that's a hit. And they get a battleship at 4, and that's a miss. Wow. So now we have some choices here. Some big choices, because Germany's got a huge air force, and Italy's also got some planes in there. So, I mean, one thing you could do, they've only had 1 hit. You could take the cheapest thing out, which would be the destroyer, and I think I'm going to do that. But what I'm thinking is, these guys are going to be in here now, right? This is in here for sure, and this is going to be in here. You have to leave 2 fighters in there. So what that's going to do now, like Germany's going to come down and probably try to take it out, because they don't want to leave that for later. But they're going to lose some planes there, that's for sure. Anyway, all these other guys are also in there. Let's just move them over so we don't get confused later. You know how that could happen to me. Get sidetracked. So then we got this attack over here, and we have 2 at 3. We have a fighter and we have a cruiser. Let's try to keep our luck going here. And we have 1 hit. And on the other side we have, what is that? Is that a destroyer or a cruiser? That's a destroyer. So 1 at 2. And a miss. So then we have 2 at 3 again. And we got 1 more hit. So, I guess we only needed 1 hit, didn't we? There was only, because the cruiser doesn't get to fight back. So they already lost. So these are out of there. So Italy did not fare so well in the Mediterranean. And we're done with the Mediterranean. Boy, Italy sure needed to do more than that. Okay, so we got that 1 attack here in the pro-axis neutral. We have the landing shot with the cruiser at 3, and that's a miss. Now we have an infantry, a mechanized infantry, but we also have a special forces unit who adds 1 to an infantry, and an artillery who adds 1 to an infantry. So that is going to be 1, 2, 3 at 3, 1 at 3, and 1 at 4. Or sorry, 3 at 2, 1 at 3, and 1 at 4. So here we go. 3 at 2. That's 3 hits. And what do we have there? That's 3 things in there? Yeah. One other thing I forgot to mention. I did move the hospital up here as well. It had been over here, but I moved it over here because these are the only guys that were at risk. So they got 3 shots back. Those 3 neutral guys, and they got 1 hit. So that's this guy here. But there's a hospital next door here, so let's see if he can survive. I would like to show this one. Let's move this over here. Got the old 12-sided dice out, and a 7. He's dead. Sucks to be that British guy. All right then, so that is the end of my combat moves. So non-combat moves, I'll let you stay for that because it's not going to take that long. I want to move this fighter over here in case they do, like I've got 2 fighters here that I could use against a strategic bombing raid if they decide to go right now. And all these guys have already moved, so they can't move. This guy's not going to move. I don't think I want to move any of these as well. You know what? Let's move this artillery out of here because these guys are overwhelming odds there. We do have to move this bomber, and he has to go 1 space, and he can't land over here because I'm theoretically I'm just taking that now, but I didn't have it at the start of my turn. So let me see how many I went. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can go 2 more spaces with him. I don't like to land here just because then they can. Well, I guess they can because I got so many boats left over there. They can't. But I still would be safer, I think, if I put him on Egypt. So I'm moving him there. This guy here has gone 3, so he's going to have to land in Malta. What else do we have here? I guess we could take that over. These guys, I'm not going to bother moving them up because I'm going to be bringing transports down to get them. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave them there. All those have moved. I wonder. We're going to take from Canada, we're going to move these guys over, and we're going to take the tank, and so that'll just go on to here. This is where all those guys are. I am going to take, though, I'm going to take the Special Forces unit. You can only, if you're using a Special Forces unit on a transport, you can only transport 1 thing because they have to move alone on a ship. And I wish I had a cruiser there, but I don't. I have that transport and I have the destroyer. I'm going to take those and I'm going to move them 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put the Special Forces unit there. So let's move these down, move these in. Some of you are probably thinking, oh, you shouldn't move that guy off there, but I'm going to throw caution to the wind. There we go. These guys might as well move over to Quebec. And I think that I have moved just about everything. Oh, this guy down here, we might as well move him up. He's at a naval base, so he can go 1, 2, 3, right there. And what do we have over here? This one here is where this marker is right here. So let's just move this marker over now. And then we could take all of these things and put them over here. And just leave the marker in there. So there. These things here, you can see the flag here. That's what this one is right here. That's where all those guys are. Just make sure that we've flown all our fighters. Oh, we haven't, have we? So this guy went from here, so he went 1, 2. He's got to go 3, 4. He's got to land in Malta. Now this one was started here, and he went 1, 2. See, I could land here, or I could land in Malta. I'm going to land in Malta because this is pretty good protection. Even if they decided to come down, they're going to need aircraft, and we've got anti-aircraft artillery here. They'd have to get through the cruiser first. There's some cannon fodder there, and then there's a couple fighters and a strategic bomber. And this bomber here can go 7, but he's already gone 5, so he can go 2. Let's move him there too. That seems like the safest place right now. So that would just about be the end of the British turn. Not quite though. This one here, I'm going to move down, and I'm going to move a dude here. So I'm moving him here. I'm just going to put him on the box down here. There we go. And that is the end of the British turn. So that's what it looks like right now. Now we can put or the end of the non-combat movement, excuse me. So now we're going to put this complex. Let's make sure we put it on the right spot. Yeah, that goes right there. And then these guys are going on here. So let's see what we got here. We got 2, 4, 6, 8 infantry now there. We have 4 of these, mechanized infantry, tank, heavy tank. So that's pretty good. I mean, if they decide to stack a whole bunch of transports on and dudes in Germany, then we can still put a lot on there. So we got the fighter still, and we're putting the fighter up in Great Britain there, so that we've got enough for a 3-plane scramble there when you add the French fighter in there. I still would like to put another fighter or 2 up there though, coming up for Great Britain. These guys, the reason I wanted to bring them down instead of going to Canada and getting more units is I like to bring as many transports as I can down over to here to use. I'm going to be shucking troop units up from here. Eventually I'm going to put, as soon as I can afford it, I'm going to put a naval base right here so I can bring them back and I can bring them forth. And there's also a naval base here and a naval base over here, and we've got the railway. So we'll pretty much be able to move troops around for Great Britain as much as we want. We just we need to get more transports so we can utilize this industrial complex, and that's why I'm bringing these down. They're gonna sail all the way around the Horn of Africa, start picking up dudes, and away they go. Anyway, that is Great Britain. So I will see you next with Italy. The poor bastards, they lost. Okay, I gotta tell you, the German player was really pissed off at the Italian player over what happened in the Mediterranean. He took him outside and threw him in the snow, and I'm telling you, it's fucking cold out there tonight. It's really cold. I got my heat off right now. It's getting colder by the minute. So let's hurry up and do Italy's turn here. This is what they purchased. They only have 10 IPCs, so they're gonna save $4 and they're gonna purchase that Special Forces unit. The reason they're going to buy the Special Forces unit is that I don't think that they're going to have any boats left at the end of this turn. In fact, or by the time their next turn comes around. In fact, I'm pretty sure of that they're not going to have any boats left. So the one thing about Special Forces unit, there's an air base here in southern Italy, and he can go force bases in the air from there. That means he can make it down to Africa. And so what I've done here for my combat moves, going over here and attacking southern Europe. They've walked over there from northern Italy. The bomber came over from northern Italy as with the fighter and the destroyer. They were sitting here, and they came over. They're going to attack these. They can't attack the hospital ship, remember, but they're attacking the French boats. And then down here, the cruiser is going to take a land shot. He brought an infantry from southern Italy and artillery from northern Italy, because they're going to have to get as many units down there as possible this turn. And then these 2 units came from over here, the infantry and the artillery. These 2 fighters came down. They're only going after the cruiser down here. You can barely see him. And then everything that was on Tobruk, they're going after Alexandria. One of the things that the Italian player needs to do, it's their job, is to take one territory off of the UK and hold it through the UK turn, because the only national objective that the UK can get on the Europe side of the board is by holding all of their original territories. So if they can get this one and hold it through the UK's next turn, then that's 5 IPCs left. The British player just collected those 5 IPCs, so they did pretty good there. They got 37 IPCs for the Europe side and only 13 IPCs for the Pacific side. But anyway, so that's why I'm going with such force over here to try to take away that and keep that bonus away. And then you can see in Anglo-Egypt, Sudan there, they're going after that British territory. And that guy down there, he came from Italian Somaliland, and he's going to take over, he's already taken over Kenya. So they're going to do as much as they can. They don't want to get thrown in the snow again. That German guy's pretty mean. So let's start rolling. Let's put this down. Get a good view of the Mediterranean. Alrighty. This time, no fucking up. Quit dicking around. Grab the Italian dice. So first thing we'll go for is Southern Europe. So we have 2 infantry, an artillery, and a tank there. So that's 1 at 1, 2 at 2, and 1 at 3. 1 at 1, miss. 2 at 2. That's 1 hit, and 1 at 3. And that's a miss. So in return, the French player gets 2 shots at 2, and they miss. So again, we have 1 at 1, 2 at 2, and misses, and 1 at 3, and that's a hit. So French player gets 1 more hit, and they hit once. So we're going to remove this guy, but remember he's at the hospital now. And same with the French guy. He's gone out to this hospital ship. They're trying to save him as we speak. Let's see what happens. Let's do the French guy first. Oh, look at that. He's saved. He's alive. He's alive. Okay, enough of that. Now the Italian guy. Oh, of course they died. That's 11 though. That's pretty close, but you can see the German guy giving him the stink eye. So, what's next? Let's just go south of there. We're going to go after these French boats. We can flip this over now, since we took that. So we have a 2 at 2 and 1 at 4. Because a sub and a destroyer are at 2, and they have a destroyer, so there's no sneak shot. So that's 1 hit and a bomber. That's a miss. So 1 hit. So then they've got 1 at 2 and 1 at 3. 1 hit and 1 miss. So 1 each. So let's take out. You know what? Let's keep the sub because there's a lot of planes left, and planes can't hit that guy without a destroyer. The British don't have any destroyers. We'll take that and we'll take this. So we have 1 at 2 and 1 at 4. That's a hit. And 1 at 3 for the French. And that's a miss. So this guy is gone. And the hospital ship stays where it is. And this guy stays. Okay, so we got a land shot going against here. That's 1 at 3. And that's a hit. But that guy gets to fire back. And that's a miss. So that guy's done. And we got 2 at 2 over here. 1 hit, and that's all we needed. So we've got 1 French guy, and he missed. These French guys are not doing too well. Taking lessons from the Italians, I think. Now we've got over here in Alexandria, we've got 3 infantry and a mechanized infantry, so that's 4 at 1. But we also have 1 artillery and 1 special forces unit, so they both upgrade 1 of those. So that's 2 infantry at 1. That's 2 6s. That's not going to get it done. And we have an artillery and 2 infantry at 2. So that's 3 at 2. That's 1 hit. And we have the special forces unit and the tank at 3. So 1 hit, 2 hits. There we go. And the British player has 2 shots back. And they hit 1. And there's no hospitals around. Like the hospital is too far away over here for this guy, right? And there's no hospital around for these guys. So these guys are off, and one of these guys are off. And put this on here. Oh, we already had one here, didn't we? There we go. I've been drugged. Okay, so we've got this attack down here now. I don't know if that's out of your range yet, but I'm going after that dude in Anglo-Egypt, Sudan. So I've got 2 dudes and an artillery, so that's 1 at 1. Oh, he hits him. And I have a 1 back, and that's a miss. So British guy didn't put up much of a fight there. And I think that's all the attacks. Nope, it isn't. We still have those 2 fighters going after that cruiser. And that's 2 at 3. Misses. And we got the cruiser. That's a miss. Again, that's 1 hit. And for the cruiser, that's a hit. So they lost a fighter out of that. Man, they lost an awful lot this in the Mediterranean. If you've never seen this game before, I can tell you that the Italians did not fare well in the Mediterranean. So let's see now, that fighter went 1, 2 spaces, so he can go back here. That's 3, 4. The bomber, he's going to go also back to, he's going to go to southern Italy. These guys have been moved. This tank is going to go to northern Italy. These guys have all moved. None of them can move anymore. These are the only guys that can move, and they're just going to stay there. The boats have all moved. Yeah, so I can't do anything else because everybody's already moved. That makes it easy enough to see whether or not I can move. So let's see, they're not down any. They're up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they 17, and they saved 4 IPCs, so they get 21 IPCs for next turn. Unfortunately, they're not going to have any boats, I don't think. It's too bad because they could have bought a couple of boats to make a small navy, but with 21 IPCs, they're not really going to be able to do anything. Before I grab the money, I'll do that in a minute, but we've only got the French turn left, and they don't have an income. They do have a partisan though. There's people that are just not going to go quietly into the night. So let us go over there and grab a French dice. Maybe that's their problem. We weren't using a French dice. Get a good look at my floor there. Okay, so I get to roll 1 dice for that partisan. I need a 1 to 3. Oh, well, that was a good one. Okay, let's try that again. 5, so they didn't take anything off the Germans. A 4 to 6 means nothing happens. A 1 to 3 would have meant you would have taken 1, 2, or 3 IPCs off of the Germans. So that's the end. That's the end of the attack moves for France. They've got non-combat moves, and as I look at this, I'm thinking I could move this, but for some reason I forgot to put that on there. And I do believe that that is a destroyer that's supposed to be there. So yeah, he's going to come up here into Sea Zone 81 destroyer. I think this guy's going to come down to here. This guy in West Africa, he's not doing anybody any good, so let's just let's move him over 1. And this guy, well, he can't go anywhere. And geez, that's it already. Wow, there's not very many French guys left on the board, and it's only the end of the first turn. We are not moving that fighter off of there. up in London there. He's up there for defense. And we've also got these two guys for defense. So that's the end of the first round. You know, this video has taken a long time, so what I think I'm going to have to do, I am going to have to make 2 videos. This will be the end of part 1. So when I get a chance, I'm going to upload this one, and I'll start on part 2, and that's going to take a while. It could take a week or 2. It might be finishing off on Boxing Day or something when I'm in my turkey coma, so to speak. I'll let you take a good look before I go. You know what we should do though before I go? We should roll. We should roll for the... Oh, it's not done. I forgot. Sorry about that. The Anzac are going, hey, what about us? We took the French turn and it was Anzac's turn. So we're not going to redo the French turn. That would just be silly. Let's look at Anzac here. Jeez, we got quite a glare there, don't we? Let's come over here. Okay, there's not much that the Anzac are going to be able to do on this turn except for the fact that, ta-da, we have the spy. Now, I didn't think we were going to need to move him in or out of a combat zone. So we have 2 choices, the strict neutral, which we can't do because they're not adjacent to one. So we're going to take 3 dice and we're going to roll. Let's just put this right over here. We're going to take 3 dice and we're going to roll them. See if we get a weapon. Come on, baby. Got to try to get a 6. Remember, if we get 3 6s, then it turns out that that Aussie, he was a double agent. There we go. We got a 6. There we go. That's the first weapon I've seen in years. Research and development sucked until today. Okay, so let's try. Let's see what we got here. 3. Let's take a look at the handy dandy thing here. 3. So I got a choice between paratroopers and improved shipyards. I think we're going to go with improved shipyards since we're an island nation. That would be just about the best thing that could happen to us, I think. So we are going to take a marker and I set this up at the end of the table here. We're going to put that on improved shipyards just so we don't forget. Perfect. Okay. I know you're all cheering down in Australia right now as you're watching this video, and New Zealand. You're going, there was never any doubt about it. So, these guys are going to lose that. They don't have any, or do they? Yeah, they don't have any attack moves. See, I can't use this guy to take flight because he is not at an air base. Surprisingly, there's no air base in New South Wales. And you know, I gotta say something here. Sydney here, they've got Sydney as the capital. Sydney has never been the capital of Australia. I don't know if you knew that or not. Apparently the people who created this game didn't know that. Canberra is the capital of Australia. Melbourne is another large city that's somewhere down around here, and Canberra is in between. And so these two argued for years who was going to be the capital, and so they settled on a place in between and inland after the War of 1812 when Canada, or the British forces, British North America forces, defeated the Americans. One of the things they were able to do was attack Washington by water. So the Canberra, they decided to put inland just for that reason. Anyway, fun fact, that's the capital of Australia, not Sydney. So, what's that guy doing there? I don't know. It's probably from the last game. Okay, so what are we going to purchase here? We got improved shipyards. You know, it's been so long since I played those frickin' rules. I don't even know what improved shipyards are. Like, I know what they are, but I gotta see. So transports now cost 6. Submarines cost 5. Destroyers 7. Cruisers 9. Aircraft carriers 13. And battleships 17. I only have 10. I would like to buy an air base, but maybe I'll go with the cruiser instead, because a cruiser can also work with these guys, the Special Forces unit. Wait a minute, there is a cruiser here. It got knocked off. Where's that cruiser supposed to be? Sorry, he's supposed to be right there. So I do have a cruiser. I'm not going to buy a cruiser then. You know what? I'm just not going to buy anything this turn. I don't think. What do we got up here? Is there a transport? I think there's only one transport right here. So I'm not too worried about those guys. They're not going to come down and take that. I'm just going to save the money this time and build myself a decent navy next time for the Anzac player. In the meantime, though, what are we going to do? One of the things we need to do to get our national objective is take out Dutch New Guinea, because that combined with all these islands that are going this way, you can't see it, I'm not going to pan the camera over, but so we need to take that, and this guy can't take flight, and we don't want to lose him up there anyway, so let's just take the transport up. This is a non-combat move. Put that up here and just take 1 infantry. And so we'll put the marker on. And there we go. And get an infantry here. I'm going to move one of these up here. I'm definitely moving this guy up. And moving these guys up. Move the cruiser over. I just want to make sure that they can't go around here, and it doesn't look like they can. They're 4 spots away, not 3. Yeah, so the furthest they could go is here, so this is a good place to leave these. And these guys can scramble out here if they did decide to come down. But even if they did, they wouldn't be able to bring enough to attack the land. So that's what we're going to do right there. But you know what? Just in case, let's move this hospital ship up. Because if they did decide to attack here, then that guy, those guys get a second chance at life. So they have achieved both of their national objectives because they control all the original territories, and they still have Malaya here. Is still in Allied hands, and they've taken this, and they have this group of islands all over here. You see all the ones with the British markers. They're all in Anzac hands, so they get an extra 10 IPCs. They're not up any, they're not down any, so that's 10 again. And combined with their 10 before, that's 20. Combined with the 10 national objective, that's 30. And that is round 1. So we go to round 2. And before I go, let's just take everybody's dice. Remember, Anzac can't play this time. Anzac is out. They don't get to go for the national objective, or the spy. Let's just put this down. Okay, so Great Britain, US. France doesn't get to go because France doesn't have a capital. China doesn't get to go. So we have Germany, Italy, Russia. Let's see who we're missing here. We have Japan? No, we don't have Japan. So we gotta find a Japanese dice. And I think that's it. Yep. So let's see who gets the spy. I'll roll all these. There's 2, 4, 6 of them this time. No Anzac and no France. What do we got here? There's 2 people that got 5s. So they both got 3s. Both got 6s. Somebody does not want to lose. And the winner is Japan. Japan gets the spy for round number 2. That is a big bonus for them. Anyway, that is round number 1, people, and that's probably the end of this first video. I'll splice that all together, and that'll be it. Now that I've remembered to move everybody. So, that's the end of this day. You guys take care.